Hey grade 12s, I hope you're doing well. So today I'll be teaching you arithmetic sequences. This is a very short video just for you to grasp your knowledge. I don't want you to be struggling with these things. So what is an arithmetic sequence? This is a sequence where consecutive terms are calculated by adding a constant value to the previous term. So for example, when we have T1, T2, T3 and T4, so if we have this term, we're gonna add a difference. Let's say it's D, we add this a constant term, I mean, not a difference. And then let's say to move from T1 to T2 we add, to move from T2 to T3 we also add that D again. We add it once, yeah, and then to move from T3 to T4 we also added D. So let's say for example, now this is a general example. This is actually how we derive it, right? So let's say the first term is A. So if the first term is A, then to move from T1 to T2 we need to add D. We're gonna have A plus D, right? And then as we're saying there, to move from T2 to T3 we need to add we need to take T2, this is T2, right? We need to take T2 and add D, and this is actually A plus 2D if you add the like terms together. And then same applies to this one, we need to add D, right? We need to add D, and T4 is equals to T3 plus D, which is A plus 2D. This is actually that this T3 plus D, which comes to A plus 3D if we add the like terms together. If you notice the pattern here, this was T1 and then we added 0 D's because 0 times D is 0, right? So we added like 0 times D, and then this is T2, we added 1, we added A plus D, 1D, we added A plus a single D. So if you notice the pattern here, the actual pattern is that if the term number is n, we add n minus 1 d's. So here the term number is 1, so we added 0. If it's 2, we add 1, so we add n minus 1 d's. So overall we're gonna have A plus n minus 1 d, as we had 0 here for n equals to 1, n equals to 2, we had 1. So this is the entire pattern. So this concludes us to saying this is the general formula for the nth term. What is the general formula for the nth term? This is it. It's Tn. So Tn is equals to A plus n minus 1 d. This is the formula that we have. So now what does what do these symbols or letters rather represent? The n represents the position of the term in the sequence, the A is the first term, and D is the common difference, right? So the common difference is just the difference of Tn minus the previous term, right? Tn minus the previous term. So the previous term would be Tn minus 1. Great. So this comes to the question that we have here that says what determines whether a sequence is arithmetic. Why is this important? Why? Because we have formulas, right? We have a formula sheet at the back of our papers, and we need to know how to apply that formula sheet. So how do we know which formula to apply? It's we actually have a test that we use to determine whether a sequence is arithmetic before we use this formula. You're gonna find it in your formula sheet. So the test that we need to do is to check whether the first difference between consecutive terms is constant. So what is a consecutive term? A consecutive term can be T1 and T2, T3 and T4, Tn and Tn plus 1. So just consecutive terms, they're next to each other. So for example, that is, this thing must be constant, right? If it's constant, then we have an arithmetic sequence. That is, the d, which is tn minus 1, this has to be constant, so it doesn't have to change. What do I mean by that? What implies that if we take the second term minus the first term, we're gonna have -7 minus 11, right? Which is equals to 4. So even here, I think I'm gonna need a bit of space, right? So -7 minus 11, which is 4, and then this term 3 minus term 2 is also 4, and then this and this also 4. What we can see here is that all these differences, the differences are constant, or is constant. Sorry about that. So if we have constant differences, then our sequence is arithmetic. If this is not true, then I think this is your homework, but I'm going to give you the answer. If it's not true, then the sequence is not arithmetic. I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry about being so messy. I hope to see you in the next video. Please like, subscribe for more content. Thank you. Cheers.